Hey, Matt, if you can, give us 3 words to describe the effort of your team tonight.
3 words. I'm more of a sentence guy. Yeah. Great ball pressure would be the 3 words that you wanted.
Could you expand a little bit?
Well, you said 3 words.
I know, and you're capable of more than 3 words.
No, I thought, the difference in the game was, having it at 29-9, and then they never really got back into where the game was, fighting, where it was, down 10, down 12, whatever it might have been. But I thought our ball pressure, especially, I thought CJ set the tone. Those 8 turnovers that they had in the first, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, I thought set the tone for the game. And obviously they didn't have as many going forward. They ended up with 22, but we kind of know how that feels. Like when our first Big Ten game, we had 24 turnovers, against Penn State, and they just got us from the onset, and we just never recovered from it. We never regrouped. We never, just like slowed ourselves down. And but it was just one of those games where some things went our direction, and then we got in the open court and got some easy baskets. And when you're putting them on their heels in transition like that, and you have advantages, and we've played bigger in the past than we do right now, but that's something that would always hurt us, is that we would have ultimate size out there, but if we're going to turn it over and you got people at the rim, they're the ones furthest away from your rim, and now they have to, they keep turning it over and they're behind plays, and now if you don't get layups and then you get quick ball movement, now you're going to get open shots. So I just thought that was the difference in the game. It just set such a tone for us, and it got us in a rhythm offensively also.
And your contributions from 9 guys.
Yeah, just having depth and having balance really helps us. Obviously, Trey got in foul trouble in the first half a little bit. CJ got a little bit of foul trouble there, but all those guys were ready to play. I think we're really seeing some improvements, with our guys off the bench and just our overall depth.
Matt, just how good was Braden tonight?
Yeah, as he starts a game and just getting into a rhythm is one thing in terms of shooting the ball and making decisions and playing, but I thought he was active defensively too. He got some steals, got into passing lanes, was just really active on both ends. But I thought his reads tonight, he just kept things simple. Took his jump shot when it was there, kept shooting even though he missed all 4 of his threes. He kept looking for it, and that's what we need for him. But he had an overall, just a good, complete game.
Matt, you forced 2 turnovers the first 2 possessions, knowing how lethal this team could be offensively. Michigan, how important was that to kind of get them out of a rhythm and disrupt what they want to do early in this game?
Right, being able to pressure and not allow them just to have things be fluid, right? And they're very unique in the way Danny Wolf will play, to go along with the 3 guards that can work you downhill. So they're great at getting downhill and driving the basketball. You see there in the second half, they had a 5-6 minute stretch where they just kept attacking the rim. And that's what they want to do for 40 minutes. And so I think that got them on their heels where they weren't the aggressor. When you see when they're the aggressor and they're attacking, things really open up for everybody else. But it's just one of those games for us where we got off to such a good start. They never really quite got into their rhythm.
Matt, you talked about using 9 guys, and I'm sure there are people who play inconsistent minutes who aren't pleased with their roles at times, but how do you navigate keeping everybody pleased or happy enough with just buying into a role over the course of 35 to 40 games?
Yeah, well, winning's good enough. If you ever find someone that's upset about winning, then they probably shouldn't be in your locker room. And then you're like, well, this guy can do more, he can do that. Well, you're putting that ahead of what's most important for us. And, everybody wants to be Braden Smith and do that. Braden Smith earned the right to have the ball in his hands and to play that way. He has the skill set and he has the game. So we really just get guys to understand of playing to their strengths and just keep playing to your strength. And don't get away from that and just be fundamentally sound. It was one of our main things to start the game that we just kept harping on in practice. Just keep things simple, be fundamentally sound, play through shot fakes, and now just make easy, simple plays. But yeah, it's part of a team, right? It's part of coming, and you hope that can help you in recruiting. because you have ultimate success. Like kids got to think more of, I want to win a Big Ten championship, I want to play in the NCAA tournament, I want to advance in the NCAA tournament, instead of like, I want to play the most minutes and I want to shoot the most. Like if you can find those guys that want to be in that role, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not quite there yet, now just keep getting better, keep growing, keep helping us win, and that's going to give you the best chance to get to that role.
Hey, Matt, you've got 3 true freshmen with significant roles in your rotation. What do you see from those guys now that you didn't see early on?
Yeah. Well, I think Jakari Harris is more comfortable out there. He's more comfortable shooting the bat. I think it wore on him when he struggled shooting the basketball. I could relate to it because I started a season one time, 1 for 17. So like misery loves company, so I went and talked to him. Like, you're all right. You're not as bad as I am. But like you can see he's more comfortable out there. Raleigh, it was great for Raleigh. He had a couple air biscuits against Oregon, and to be able to knock those 2 threes down, that had to, to really feel good. And then CJ's just, he's just hung in there. He's impressed everybody from day one with his effort and playing hard. And he can make shots, he can guard the basketball, and it's really kind of that niche that we needed. But like G's coming in and guarding people, Miles is coming in, guarding people, and then trying to balance things out and playing through Trey and Braden and really playing off those guys.
Setting aside that Braden just had foul trouble on Tuesday, through this stretch where his defense is really ramped up, he's done it generally without fouling. Why is he able to do that so well, to kind of create havoc without generally causing those fouls?
Yeah, well, more than anything, it's, be aggressive defensively when you see blood in the water. So when you have an advantageous scenario to be aggressive, be aggressive. But if they don't show weakness, be solid. And I think that's just being instinctual. When he first got here, he just gambled just kind of on a whim, instead of just gambling when it presents itself. When it doesn't present itself, you have to be solid, and he's done a really good job of that. The way we kind of orchestrate and anchor things, whether you're posting up or you're in a ball screen ISO on the wing or you're driving the baseline, when he can be out and make that read right there, he ends up getting a couple steals that way. Sometimes he's the guy on the ball or he's the guy helping right there. But if we can get him over there in that, we can't set that up, right? Where they go with their guys. But when he's in that role for us, kind of as a free safety, it really helps us.
Dusty May touched on this just when he watched you guys lose to Ohio State. He was disappointed because he knew how you guys were going to come in. And I know you try to keep your team even keeled no matter what.
Right.
But just talk about kind of the switch that they seem to flip tonight and seem to have flipped in the past.
It's a great sign. I thought it was a great sign for us the way we struggled offensively at Washington and Oregon, but we still won the game. I thought that was a great sign for our team, and tonight was a great sign from just getting off the canvas. It doesn't feel good to lose. Nobody likes that. Just like I don't know who Michigan has next, but I would think that this game will help them. Help sharpen your pencil a little bit and get you ready for your next opponent. So I was glad that our guys responded, and you never really look at it from an offensive standpoint. Like you hope shots go in, you hope to execute, you're going to work things, you're going to, we get ourselves prepared in that area. But if it doesn't go, can you beat a really good team? Like today we played okay offensively. So, that's the whole thing. If we don't play well offensively, but we still get good shots and we don't turn it over, I still think we win this game. Because defensively we did some really good things. And so that's what we're really trying to get to. And then if you're going to beat great people, especially on the road, like a lot of times you gotta be better offensively. You gotta if you can keep making baskets and setting your defense, you just continue to make it harder on them.
Okay. Matt, about a month ago, you guys are 75th in defense. Now you're closing in on top 20. Do you have a comparison for just a team executing this much better on the defensive end this quickly in a season?
Yeah. Well, we're not doing anything different than we were in the beginning of the year. We've just gotten better. And I think sometimes when you don't have a set rotation to start and you're trying to figure things out, you're making it harder on yourself, but yet you don't know, right? And so you're trying to get it figured out, like what's best for your team at that point. But we've stayed with it. I think a lot of times, especially someone with an untrained eye, when you see something and the other team has success, you say, well, that doesn't work. When in reality, you're normally making mistakes. I always say sticking to our rules. Like, stick to our rules and what we're doing. When you stick to our rules and you do what we work on and what we drill, normally they're not going to have success. It's normally us breaking down and them taking advantage of that breakdown. So like how we guard the ball, or how we, handle the post, or like whatever it might be. This is what we started in June. We felt like, we could have lineups with no rim protection when Daniel wasn't out there. And we also thought physically, like, where is he going to be as he goes through the Big Ten season, right? We didn't know. So I just felt like we had to do some things a little bit different, because I didn't feel like we had the rim protection necessary. Doesn't mean we can't be good defensively. You don't have to have a shot blocker, but man, does it help when you do, because they erase mistakes. And right now, like, we just don't have that. So we got to do a better job containing the dribble. We got to do a better job of keeping the ball out of the paint. Everybody has more success when they keep the ball out of the paint, but we really have more success when when people get the ball in the paint. You saw that in the beginning of the second half. When they got the ball where they wanted to, they had success. When we kept the ball from getting in there, now we were generating turnovers and misses.
In the back and then second.
Matt, I don't know if you already asked this, but if you wouldn't mind talking the X's and O's of your defense tonight to really make it difficult on a team that, had a lot.
Great offensive team. I would say just the uniqueness of their team for us was a little challenging, because you don't know how to navigate something you don't normally see. So like Danny Wolf really puts you into a bind that you're just uncertain about, because like, who else is 7 foot coming off of ball screens, ever. So like that kind of had us like back and forth, like, what should we do here? He's so good at just finding that roll guy, and then like he's so good at just working downhill. And then you go with the other athleticism and the skill level of those players. I thought we defended well, but I also thought in that first half they had some good looks not go down. And I think sometimes on the road, like, you get that benefit, right? But yeah, they, Trey Donaldson and Burnett and Roddy Gale, their ability to drive the basketball, his ability to drive the basketball, and then Vlad has been as good as anybody in our league. And so like now we really didn't want him to get those deep post ups, and we tried to fight right there and try to come with a quick double with him. We tried to just stay with, Danny Wolf, and just like try to keep him from getting angles to the best of our ability. And then we wanted to switch as much as we could, but we didn't want it to be lazy switches. We wanted to be clean and keep the ball in front of us. So that was kind of the gist of it, without getting into the real weeds of like some of the specials that they run and how they handle it. But I thought our ball pressure was the difference, though, to start with. I just thought kind of jarring them, getting a couple steals at half court, getting a couple pick sixes, that really got us going. And then like they never got into what they really do. They did, but they didn't, right? It's not one of those fluid things. You watch them play and you're like, on tape, it gets frustrating. Like, you're like, how in the hell are we going to stop them, right? Like, it's just one of those deals. But your defense has got to help you. And I thought our defense helped us tonight.
Same lesson.
Now, this isn't really basketball related, but just your tennis shoes, the coaching staff tennis shoes
Right.
that cancer patients designed,
Right.
and somebody's going to pay thousands of dollars for these tennis shoes, which ultimately goes back and helps these kids hopefully live a better life, or as good a life as they're capable of living.
Right.
How special is that for the team and the coaches, that these are things you maybe take for granted at times, and then something like this happens that can really help out some people?
Just great. Like, the more ideas, we've done a lot through Coaches vs. Cancer and the American Cancer Society, and just events and different things. But anytime we can do things of this nature, just for the overall awareness, more than anything. But it was really cool that, we had, kids that are cancer patients, like, design our shoes and have our shoes, and now we can auction them and raise money, to help, go against this dreaded disease.
Thank you, guys.
All right.